of linear queue and we are overcoming using the circular queue. Okay, let's discuss this slide. Okay, what is circular queue? Circular linked list, we can compare a circular queue with a linear queue. Okay, so what we basically do in circular linked list, we connect the first element and last element by just storing the address of last first element in the last element. So by uh, using same way or by following the same way, we can make a linear queue to work or to perform in the way of circular manner by just connecting the last index and the first index. So in this given example, you can see the index 0 is directly connected with the index 7, or after the index 7 you can access index 0, or you can say there is one more index before index 0, that is index 7. So in this way, by just connecting the last end of the queue or last element of the queue with the first element, you can perform addition or deletion in a circular manner. Okay, and we can overcome the situation or problem of linear queue here. How can we overcome that problem? Let me tell you. Let's suppose we have stored some element like this in this queue. So the principle of queue will be followed, will be same, that is first in first out. Okay, and in this case we will be adding the element or the first element to be added in the queue whenever queue is empty should be at the index number 0. Okay, and in similar way we are adding and deleting element. So whenever we are adding a new element in the queue, the rear end will be increases, the front end will remain same. And let's suppose I have added these 5 elements in the queue, and the element will start to be adding from the first position, that is index number 0 up to index number 4. Okay, so in this situation I have added the 5 element in this circular queue, and further for further insertion, what I need to do here, let's suppose I have added 60, then I have added 70 and 80, and in this situation you can see the rear end will be pointing to this index value, that is index number 7, and the value is 80. Okay, and you can see the front end is pointing to very first index, that is index 0. So this time you can see the circular queue is full. So you can derive a formula to check the overflow situation when front is pointing to 0 index and rear is pointing to n minus 1 index or max size minus 1 index, then the overflow condition is here and the queue is full. Okay, let me further discuss the same example. Let's suppose I want to delete some element from this given queue. So what will happen? Again, we will be following the same way for deletion. What we need to do here to delete a single element, we need to use this and only, that is front end. So the first element to be deleted from this queue would be 10. The next element to be deleted would be 20. And in this situation, the front end will be pointing to this index value, that is index 2 and value 30. Okay. So here you can see two spaces are vacant, and for the new insertion you can utilize these spaces in circular queue. But if we talk about linear queue, then the overflow will be there if the index value 7 is holding an element. Okay, so here in circular queue we can utilize these vacant spaces, doesn't matter where rear is pointing. Okay, so here because front is not pointing to the index number 0 and rear is pointing to index number 7, and the overflow is not there. And to perform the next insertion, what you need to do, you can insert, because these two ends are connected with each other. So after 7 you can again reset the index value for the rear, and for the new insertion the value, uh, for the new insertion the new value will be stored at this position. Let's suppose I have again inserted 10. So in this case the rear end will be pointing to index number 0. Okay, I hope uh, you are getting it, that how can you perform insertion in circular queue whenever the last index is already occupied, or last index is rear is pointing to last index. Okay, so in this kind of circular queue you can perform the further insertion by just adding a new element, start from the zero index again. So in circular manner we are utilizing these spaces because spaces are connected with each other. So the left vacant spaces can be utilized further. If we are if rear is pointing at index number max size -1, then you can make rear pointing to 0, and you can add a new element again from the index number 0. So in this situation you can see front is pointing to index number 2 and rear is pointing to index number 0. Again, let's suppose I want to insert a new element in this queue, and I have inserted a new element, let's say 20. Okay, so 20 is inserted in this queue, and what will happen, or rear will be pointing to the index value, that is 1 in this case. Okay, so here in this case you can see the queue is full. Okay, I cannot further insert a new element because there are no space left in this queue, and rear end is pointing at index number 1 and front is pointing at index number 2. So in this way you need to implement circular queue, or you need to make one more condition for overflow whenever front is more than rear, or whenever the front is pointing to such index which is greater than rear index value, then the overflow situation will be arises. Okay, so here in this case you can see the front is greater than rear, but this condition will not remain same in all cases. Let me delete one more element from this full queue, and let's suppose I want to delete next element. So you can see front is pointing to index number 2, so the first element to be deleted should be 30, and here in this case I have deleted 30. Again I want to delete one more element, and that element should be 40. So in this case the front index will be pointing to index number 4, and here you can see rear is 1 and front is 4, but this is not overflow condition. Okay, so you need to be more specific about the overflow condition. You cannot say when the front is greater than rear the overflow arises. No, not all time. So a specific condition should be derived when rear is pointing to just before the front, it means overflow is there. Okay, so let's suppose the same scenario. Okay, one more condition I want to explain to you. Again I want to insert new element, so the new element to be inserted will be pointing to next index, and that index would be the index number 2. Okay, and the rear end will be pointing to index number 2 in this case. Okay, the new insertion, because rear in current scenario rear is pointing to 1, and I have inserted a new element, and this situation the rear is pointing to index number 2. Again I want to perform next insertion, and in this case you can see the new element is 40 to be inserted in this queue, and it will be inserted at this place. And here in this case you can see rear end is pointing to index number 3, and front end is pointing to index number 4. So here you can derive the formula for overflow situation when front is equal to rear plus 1. Okay, I can write it here. uh, when front is pointing to rear plus 1 means front is at just next index value from the rear. In this situation overflow arises. So we are having two conditions here for overflow. One is when front is pointing to rear plus 1, and another one is when front is pointing to, or front is at index number 0 with rear pointing to max size minus 1. So I need to use AND operation here. So rear should be pointing to last index minus 1 at the same time. Okay, so let's suppose I am writing here another variable, and let's suppose the name of it is max size minus 1. Okay, so if both these, any of these two conditions, let me add or operator here. Okay, so if any one of these two condition, the second condition is combined with the AND operator, so in this case both conditions should be satisfied at the same time for the overflow. And another condition for the overflow is front should be pointing to rear plus 1. Okay, so in this case you can see there are no limitation of circular queue. When actually spaces are vacant you can insert a new element, but whenever queue is full and there are no space left in queue, you cannot further insert. So here the spaces allocated by the computer uh, memory management system should be utilized in efficient way, and it can be utilized using circular queue. But in a linear queue, because we can insert in a linear manner only, so the left spaces cannot be utilized in linear queue, and that is the limitation of linear queue. And it is very important question, and it can be asked in the university exam. And then what are the limitation of linear queue, and what is the feasible solution you can use to overcome that condition. Okay, and you can also be asked that instead of using circular queue, what is another solution you can use to overcome such situation. And I have already discussed that solution with you. By just shifting the element at the front side you can overcome the limitation, but it is not a feasible solution, and it is not applicable on all sizes, all type of array of different sizes. For the large size array it is not applicable, but for a small size array you can use that solution. Okay, I hope the concept of circular queue is clear to all. Okay, so the overflow condition is clear, and another condition is underflow, and the underflow condition will remain same for the circular queue as we discussed in the linear queue. So whenever the front end and rear end both are out of this queue and there are no element present in the queue, this is called the empty queue, and you can write the queue is empty and deletion cannot be performed, so underflow arises. Okay, so I'm writing one more condition here, and this condition is called underflow condition, and this is the same condition we used in linear queue. Okay, so when front and rear both ends are equal and they are pointing to -1, the queue is empty. Okay, so another condition is also there when there is single element in queue, and this condition is also same for the circular queue. When front and rear both will be pointing to same index value and that index should not be equal to -1, then there will be only single element in the queue, and in similar way we will be performing the insertion and deletion operation. Okay, so here are some types of queue we will be studying in further lectures: the priority queue and double-ended queue. And today we are discussing the circular queue. Okay, so here is the definition of circular queue, in which last node is connected back to the first node to form a cycle. and it is called circular queue. Circular queue can be implemented in a circular form rather than a straight line. And the very simple way to implement a circular queue using linked list is using circular linked list. So by just using the circular linked list, you can implement a circular queue. But you need to follow the same principle of first in, first out. All the insertions should be performed from the back side and deletion should be performed from the head side. Okay. Circular queue overcome the problem of utilizing space in linear queue by using array. And the main disadvantage of linear queue using array is when elements are deleted from the queue, new element cannot be added in their place in the queue, and that position or that space cannot be reused. Okay. Example we already discussed. Yes. Here is the important thing or important algorithm. You need to understand this algorithm very carefully because it is important topic and it can be asked in the university exam. So the insertion operation on a circular queue, because we have already discussed the insertion operation in a circular queue, so uh, I'll be reading all these steps one by one, and you can ask me, you can ask for any doubt. So the first step, whenever we are performing insertion in any kind of data structure, you need to be careful about checking the overflow condition. Okay. So again, here we are checking the overflow condition because we are performing insertion operation. So check for overflow condition, and we have derived the overflow condition. The same formula we have used over here. If rear is pointing to max size -1, and at the same time and operator we are using here, the front should be pointing to index number 0. Or second condition is here, if front is pointing to the next index of rear, immediate next index we are talking about. So when front is pointing to rear +1, or rear is max size and front is 0, in that case the overflow is there and we cannot further insert. So you need to exit this process. If it is not, overflow is not there, you can further insert. In this case, you need to check the position of rear pointer. Okay. And okay, let me tell you in the same example. Okay, to reset the value of rear, whenever we are inserting from the 0 condition, 0 position, let's suppose 60, 70 I have inserted, then 80 I have inserted, and some deletion I have performed. So rear is pointing to this end. I have deleted this 10, and here front is pointing to this index value. I think this scenario is clear to you. Rear is here at index number 7, and now I want to insert a new element, because in this case I cannot just insert a new element by just incrementing the value of rear end, because in this case rear will be 0 at this condition. So I cannot just write 7 plus 1 here. So I need to change my formula, and here the formula should be like this. Here we have used another formula, and by just using this value rear +1 mod max size. So here we have applied this operation on the value of updated rear, that is rear +1, and we are also using this mod max size. So what will happen in this scenario we have discussed, the new rear will be at you can say, if rear is pointing to 7, so in this case the new rear should be pointing to the index number 0, and we can derive it by using the formula rear equals to rear +1 mod max size. So let me write it for you. So here the new value or updated value of rear will be calculated as rear +1, that is 7 plus 1 mod max size. And you know, we are using a circular queue of size 8. Okay, from index number 0 up to index number 7. So what will be the value of this statement? 7 plus 1 mod 8. means 8 mode 8 we are calculating, and ultimately because we are applying the mode operator, so the remainder value should be written here, and it will be 0. Okay. Another case, if you want to use the same formula to calculate the new value, let's suppose rear is pointing to index number 6 and the next value for the rear should be 7. So again, if we apply the same formula, the value will be calculated in a correct way. Okay. And here 7 mode 8, and it should come as 7. So we can always utilize this formula to calculate a new value of rear. Doesn't matter if rear is pointing to 6 and next value should be calculated as 7, or rear is pointing to 7 and new value should be calculated as 0. So by using this formula, you can find out any value of rear, whether it is 0 or not. Okay. So in the second step, what we are actually doing, as we did in the insertion in linear queue, we are using the same way. So if rear is pointing to max size -1, then you can reset it 0. You can use a two-step process, and instead of using these two-step process, you can just use this step. Okay. So I will prefer this step only, that is rear can be calculated using rear +1 mode max size. Okay. Then after calculating or updated after calculating the value of rear, you can use that updated value to store a new value or insert a new value by just writing q rear equal to data, because we are implementing using array. Then check the position of front pointer, because if we are inserting at very first time, so you need to be careful. In that case, you also need to check change the value of this front as 0. Okay. So this condition should be checked always, whether you are inserting first time or not, because if you are not inserting first time, then the value of front will be different, and it will not, it shouldn't be -1 in that case. Okay. I hope the process of insertion in circular queue is clear to you. Again, the deletion process, and it is quite same as we used in the linear queue, because there are no difference in the empty queue. Same condition we are checking for the empty or underflow situation. If underflow is there, you cannot delete, and we need to exit here. Otherwise, you need to change the position of the front and rear pointers accordingly. If you are deleting a single element presented in the array in the queue, then you need to update front and rear both at same time. Okay. So if front and rear both are pointing to both are equal, in that case you can just delete element by just writing this, and you can set the front and rear -1. So here we are checking in step number 2 whether single element is there in the queue. Okay. So if this condition is not true, you are deleting for another time, you are deleting single element, you are not deleting from the queue. In that case, you need to check if front is there. Either you can use this or you can use this formula. So by just using this formula, you can update a new value of front, because the same situation can be there if you have inserted or if you have implemented queue in this way. Let's suppose here are some element in this queue, and I have deleted this element. Just a minute. Let's suppose this situation is there. Rear is pointing to index number 0, front is pointing to index number 1, and I have deleted all these elements from the queue. These all element has been deleted, and I'm pointing, or front is pointing to index number 7. The next value that should be reset for this front should be 0 after deleting this 80. So again, we are using the same kind of formula to update the new value of front in this kind of situation. Okay. So we will be preferring this statement only to update the new value of front by just using the formula front equal to front +1 mode max size. Okay.